Hi guys. Hi Inked. Hi Scooter. Ow, my internet is being fucking pissy.
Mom! 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 Mommy! Mommy! Mama!
Speaking.
Mama! Mama! What? Hi.
Hold on. I gotta turn my volume up so I can actually hear them because I don't have my headset like actually on. Hi Beans. Because I can't with my crown. I can't have my headset actually on my ears. So I had to turn the volume up so I can actually be able to hear sound alerts. How's everybody doing? Is it my echoing? No, you're fine. If there's an issue, like I want to get it like taken care of. Oh, it's a new week. Hold on. Give me a second. I gotta refresh my goals. It is a new week. I have to refresh my goals. Hi, Beans. Hold on. I got to refresh my source. Give me a second. There we go. How better? Okay. So, those of you that are here, starting new mythology today. Super excited. This one is by far one of my favorites. We're doing the Celts. Um, there are points that this will probably get really confusing because a lot of, hi Victor, a lot of countries fell under Celtic. The Welsh, the Scottish.
Oh my God!
Thank you, Viking. Um, but so today I'm gonna be doing if my internet wants to function. I'm gonna throw my internet. I'm gonna throw my internet right out the fucking window. Um, but I'm not gonna be doing a whole lot today in terms of what I'm reading. Just because there's a lot of information in the introduction stuff. But we'll be English. We'll be going over the introductory stuff. If I can find it, where'd it go? There it is. Introductory stuff, and then a little bit on the background of the religion. I won't be doing too much though, because it is a lot of reading. I'm good. A little bit rushed. A little bit rushed because I was rushing because I was behind schedule to get ready for stream. A little bit behind schedule. Slacking. Where are my glasses? Oh, they're there. You guys get to see me in my glasses. This is hell. Actually, I'm hoping that I can wear them. But Victor. Could one of my mods shout out the trickster? That's Victor. Could one of you shout him out, please? Fucker, just tip. Thank you. I gotta clean my glasses before we start. Thank you, Scooter. Alright. So we are going to get started. We're gonna start on the introduction, of course. So I plan on doing like a full deep dive into the Celts. It is my favorite mythology. So when I'm Thank you. So what I'm most passionate about, I actually practice Celtic paganism. It is my religion. Um, so doing this is actually like really, really special to me. When I am finished today, I will be opening it up so people can ask questions if there was something that they needed clarified or they have anything they'd like to add. You guys are more than welcome to ask questions when I open that up at the end. Gotta adjust the book so you guys can still see all of my face. Hi, JJ. Okay. Introduction. Who are the Celts? For many people, the word Celt conjures two different images. Ooh, that might be a little bit loud. Turn that down just a little bit. Two different images, two quite different personalities. One is hot-blooded, fiery, passionate, quick to take offense, volatile, and argumentative. I'm good. How are you doing? The other is quiet, nostalgic, thoughtful, contemplative, mystical, and in tune with the natural world and also with the world of the spirit. These are two quite different personalities, but they complement each other. There are two sides of an ancient Celtic coin. The Janus faces of Celticness. I'm happy to hear that, JJ. The Celts have tended to dwell on their past, forever looking back to days of former glories and brooding over past defeats. The ancient medieval Celts loved to tell stories about their tribes, their leaders, their heroes, and their gods. Sometimes there was a practical value in this. Kings and princes needed to justify their positions of privilege, and their ancestry was an integral part of their title. I am your king because my father was your king and his father before him. They needed bards to recite their genealogies so that their subjects were regularly reminded of their lord's pedigrees. Sometimes these genealogies included glamorous imaginary heroes, and the recitation of the family tree developed into entertainment. Storytelling has always been an important element in the Celtic psyche, and the edge between story and history has always been blurred. But a story, or the complex web of interlocking stories that made up the tribal myth, was what held Celtic society together. Every community needs an idea of itself in order to survive, a clear self image that makes it possible to tell the difference between itself and other communities. This was why one tribe adopted one totem animal and another tribe adopted a different animal, and why one tribe adopted one species of tree and another tribe a different species. We are the elm people. We are the oak people. We are different. That sense of special identity has always been important. An important theme in this book is that the key to that sense of identity has changed throughout time. The basis, the foundation of Celticness is not the same now as it was. People we know. Sometimes we think of the early world of the Celts as being an anonymous tribal world, a place where we know no one. In fact, we know a surprisingly large number of people who lived in that world, and English. There were several kings in Britain whose names are known. Uh, Cassivellaunus, Cunobelin, Caraticus, Cogadam. Wow, I can't speak. Cogadamnus, Cardamandua, the Celtic queen of Brabant, Boudica, the warrior queen of Iceni, Divisi. Hold on, I gotta figure out how to pronounce it. Give me a second. Divisicus, the Druid king who visited Rome and befriended Cicero, and Vercingetorix, Vercingetorix, the heroic Gaulish king who surrendered to Caesar rather than see his horses or any more of his companions killed. A few centuries later, we stumble upon St. Patrick, St. Columba, and the ever mysterious, ever elusive figure of King Arthur. Okay, Viking. Arthur has somehow moved across from history to myth, acquiring the character of a Celtic god along the way, and some of the mystification surrounding his life may reflect the religious beliefs of the time. Another section of the Another section of this book is devoted to these beliefs. The spirit world it was integrated into the everyday Celtic world in a way that it no longer is today. There was no separation between the people and the spirits, the gods and goddesses who inhabited and controlled everything. The spirits were seen as residing within the natural features of the landscape. Every hill and headland and every stream and spring, every forest and marsh had its own indwelling spirit. Worship was a matter of communing with the spirits in the places where they lived. People went to riverbanks to commune with the spirits of the river. They went to springs to commune with the spirits who looked after those magical places where life giving water seeped out from the underworld. There were temples and shrines, but a great deal of the mediation between the everyday world and the spirit world went on out in the landscape, in the open air. To go back to the beginning, the origin of the people first named the Celts by classic writers has long been the subject of speculation and discussion. The Celts of the Iron Age have an aura of mystery about them because, like the Minoans, they did not leave us any written literature of their own. There are some inscriptions and a fragmentary calendar, but there is no literature as such. The ancient Celts, either deliberately or inadvertently, surround themselves with mystery, like the hero Caswallon, and with his magic plate of invisibility. This is all a whole lot of history book stuff. So we're going to get into the religion. That's places. This book has so many freaking pages. Okay, we're gonna stop for just a second because I need to get something to drink. And or I'm gonna die because my throat is gonna dry out. I'll be right back. This is stuff I like. It's sweet tangerine. Um, it's got caffeine, so helps me curve my soda problem. Yeah, no. Victor, I would die. I don't think you'll want to watch me die. I don't think that would be very fun. I don't think that would be very fun for anybody. So this is gonna feel a bit fragmented. Some of it's going to be short, but I am going off of how the book is formatted. 'Cause this section, the religion section, is formatted a little bit weird. So, to my best ability, and again, like I said, any questions or anything, if the answers are not in the book, I will look it up. I don't know everything. I don't have a photographic memory. I wish I did. That'd be awesome. Anyways, so this section, I'm not doing all of this section just because there's a lot here. I would die. No, thank you. Back off my spoon. Stir, 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 stir. Alright. Start. So, this like the Celtic religion section goes in alphabetical order, so this should be fun. um, some of these sections are really short, some of them are kind of long. Just bear with me. Abnova, a huntress goddess of the Black Forest in Germany. Oh, yeah, the Germans were also considered Celtic. Internet does not want to cooperate right now. Don't know why. Don't have anything open that's on the internet. Gives me time to find my bookmark though. Because I already pre-planned where I was going to stop because there's a lot of information in this section. And we're going to stop on that page there. All right. Abnava, a huntress goddess of the Black Forest in Germany. She is accompanied by a hunting dog. Altar. Some of the southern Gaulish altars of the Roman Celtic period are very small. The ones that have survived are made of stone, though it is possible some were wooden. This is reminiscent of the small portable altars used by the early Christian missionaries who may have borrowed this practice from the pagan Celts. The small altars have religious symbols carved on their front, such as a swastika or a wheel, to show dedication to the sun god or sky god. Okay, Victor. Some have an extra symbol, a palm branch or conifer that may be a fertility symbol. Larger altars have carved plinths and cornices showing classical influence, and they too have a religious symbol or two carved on them. The altar from Trusk in the lower Rhone Valley is of particular interest in having a seven-spoked wheel on one side and a rosette with seven petals on the other. The circularity of the two symbols and the repetition of the division into seven suggest that they were connected in some way. Another altar from the Rhone Valley shows signs that deliberate attempts were made to deface the religious symbols. This may have been the work of Christians. Some altars were dedicated to two gods at once, such as Jupiter and Sylvanus. An altar from Alesia shows a god seated on a throne that is carved with wheels. He is accompanied by an eagle. Altars in the Rhineland and Britain were significantly different from the Gaulish altars. They were much more Roman in style, and this is a reflection of their military character. They were set up by the legions, who were bound to be more Romanized than the civilian communities of the Celtic West. One outstanding example is the altar found at Cologne. It has a very realistic carving of a wheel below a well-carved inscription to Jupiter. The altars found along Hadrian's Wall in the north of England are standard Roman military monuments in every way except that they bear a Celtic, not a Roman religious symbol, the wheel. And, and Camna, the consort of the god Lenus at Trier. Andraste, a war goddess in Britain, according to Dio Cassius, and there will be more on that later, probably next week when I get to that section. Angus Mac Og, the Irish god of youth and beauty, and one of the Tuatha De Danann, the gods of the ancient Irish who later became the heroic fairies, the Daoinisiti. Their king, the Dagda, allocated to them his realms and palaces. He took two palaces for himself, gave one to Lug, son of Ethne, and one to Ogma, but his son Agnes Mac Og was away, and so was forgotten. When he returned and complained about being disinherited, the Dagda ceded his own palace on the Boyne, probably the Newgrange Passage grave, to him for a day and a night. Angus was not satisfied with this, and claimed the Brugna Boyne for himself forever. Anwen, the Celtic underworld, ruled over by Aron. I can't fucking English. This isn't even English. Aran. Anwen is not a place of punishment or everlasting lamentation, but an otherworldly place where the power of the ancestors resides. Mortal men and women are allowed to visit Anwen and return to the world of the living. From it, the wild hunt rides out. Arduina, the boar goddess of the Ardens, is showing riding a wild boar. Artio, the bear goddess, she's actually in Smite. Yeah, I know you're laughing at me struggling to pronounce things, though, Scooter, so Adepomaris, a healing god in Celtic Gaul. In the Romano-Celtic period, he was associated with Apollo and sometimes called Apollo at Adepomaris. Small figurines of horses were offered to him at some of Apollo's healing sanctuaries, such as Saint Sabine in Burgundy. The root epo refers to the word for horse as an eponym, and the name Atepomaris as a whole has been translated as great horseman or possessing a great horse. I what a meant scooter. The Badb. An Irish war goddess, she is a battle fury appearing on the battlefield to confront Cu Chulainn. In this mythic confrontation, she drives a chariot, wears a red cloak, and has red eyebrows. She's intent on terrifying the young hero. Bodweir can shapeshift into Bodcatha, the battle raven. In this form, she flaps around the battlefield, picking over the corpses of fallen warriors, and revels in the bloodshed. Really should be wearing my glasses, but I'm okay for now. Swansea, or Banshee, as it's normally spelled. Um, this refers to the Gaelic fairy woman, the best known of the Celtic fairies from Ireland and the Scottish Highlands. She is known as Ban Nig, the little washer by the ford, because she is often seen by the side of the stream, washing the blood-stained clothes of those about to die. Bellatukadros, a god commonly worshipped 1800 years ago along the western half of Hadrian's Wall. Belenus, a common Celtic healer god often associated in the minds of the Romans with Apollo. Belenus was popular in central and southern Gaul and northern Italy, especially it seems in the old Celtic kingdom of Noricum in the eastern Alps. Tertullian says he was the special deity there. Ausonius, a poet writing in Bordeaux in the 4th century AD, mentions that there were sanctuaries dedicated to Belenus in southwestern France. He mentions one of the temple's priests of the Belenus cult by name, Phobicus. The link between Phobus, and Apollo suggests that this was an adopted name acquired when he became a temple priest. The name Belenus suggests that there may be a connection with the Celtic name for Mayday, Beltane. If the word Beltane means shining fire, Belenus could have been a solar god, and this would explain his translation as Apollo, who is also a sun god. Beltane. A major Celtic annual festival that falls on May 1st, May Day, and marks the start of the summer half of the year. The first element, Bel, probably means shining or brilliant. The second element, Tane or Ten, means fire. This great festival marking the start of summer was celebrated by big gatherings of people and the lighting of mayfires. Livestock were driven between twin bonfires to protect them from disease. It is said by some folklorists that the dancing that accompanied this was a ritual enactment of the sun's movement through the sky. May Day was celebrated as a major festival in various parts of the western Celtic region, especially in southern Britain. The festivities of Tudor England were described in detail. Against May Day, every parish, town, and village assemble themselves together, both men, women, and children, old and young. They go to the woods and groves, some to the hills and mountains, where they spend all the night in pleasant pastimes, and in the morning they return bringing with them birch boughs and branches of trees with which to deck their houses. But their chief jewel they bring with them is their maypole, which they bring home with great care. They have 20 or 40 yoke of oxen, every ox having a sweet nosegay of flowers placed on the top of his horns, and these oxen draw this maypole, which is covered all over with flowers and herbs, bound round about with strings from the top to the bottom, and sometimes painted with different colors, with 200 or 300 men, women, and children following it. And this being reared up with handkerchiefs and flags streaming on the top, they strew the ground about, bind bows about it, set up the summer halls, bowers, and arbors hard by it, and then they fall to leap and dance about it. Maypole dancing was certainly a major feature of the May Day festivities by the late Middle Ages, but no one really knows how old this custom is. The emphasis on celebrating outside, on going off into the woods and groves, is very reminiscent of the old Iron Age Celtic custom of open air worship, and this suggests that it may be ancient. Maypole dancing is a custom that has survived in the lands of the Atlantic Celts, though it is carried on in other places too, such as Sweden and Germany. As far as the British Isles are concerned, the maypole seems to have been found mainly in England, which may be taken to suggest a Germanic origin rather than an indigenous Western Celtic origin. The places in Wales, Scotland, and Ireland where maypole dancing became established are said to have been in areas of English colonization, yet the earliest documented reference to a maypole comes from a part of Welsh Wales. A Welsh poem written by Griffith ap Ada ap Dafydd in about 1350 describes how the people of Llanidloes in central Wales erected a tall birch pole. The custom of raising posts for ritual purposes has its beginning back in the Neolithic and even before. It was common in those times to raise avenues and rings of posts, concentric concentric rings of posts. This happened at Stanton Drew, Mount Pleasant, and most famously the Durrington Walls and Woodhenge. And single posts were raised at the site of Stonehenge as long as 7000 BC, as long ago as 7000 BC in the Middle Stone Age. Whenever the custom had its beginning, there were increasing numbers of references to maypoles from AD 1350 on. By 1400, the custom was certainly well established across southern Britain. The maypole became a community symbol, a focus for communal endeavor. There was a negative aspect of this. They became trophies. In Hertfordshire and Warwickshire in the early 17th century, people stole the maypoles belonging to neighboring villages, which could lead to violent skirmishes. Thank you, Scooter. Okay, Viking. The anarchic, the anarchic and disorderly behavior surrounding the May Day festivities brought an ever-increasing tide of disapproval from some Protestant groups in the 16th and 17th centuries. Under the Protestant Edward VI, many maypoles, such as the famous Cornhill Maypole in London, were destroyed. The maypole is stored under the eaves of the Church of St. Andrew Undershaft in the city of London. Each spring it was taken out and set up for May Day until 1517, when the riotous behavior of the students brought the custom to an end. The maypole itself survived until 1547, when a Puritan mob destroyed it as a pagan idol. Mary Tudor, who was intolerant in other ways, rather surprisingly allowed the reinstatement of maypoles. But the rise of Presbyterianism in Scotland was to lead to their virtual extinction there. The English Long Parliament's Ordinance of 1644 denounced maypoles as a heathenish vanity, generally abused to superstition and wickedness. At Henley and Arden in 1655, officials stepped in to prevent them from being erected. The ordinance may have been flouted in many other places, while the authorities turned a blind eye to local custom. Maypole dancing became a symbol of resistance to the Long Parliament and to the Commonwealth that followed. At the restoration of the English monarchy in 1660, Londoners put up maypoles at every crossway as a sign that Old England was restored. The tallest of them was in the Strand. It was more than 130 feet high. It stood beside the church of St. Mary le Strand until it was blown down by the wind in 1672. The maypole continued to be a symbol of Merry England uh, into the 19th century, when the tradition was developed by adding colored ribbons, plating, which produced plating woven onto the pole as pairs of boys and girls danced around it. As the plaited ribbons became shorter, the dancers were brought closer to the pole and closer to one another. This type of quaint conceit was typical of much of the invented custom and folklore of the time. In some areas, a rather different maypole tradition developed, called garlanding. Small handheld sticks covered with intricate decorations made of flowers, greenery, and crepe paper. Children were encouraged to design and make these and take them to school on May morning. A prize was often given for the best garland. It might be tea with the vicar. The tallest surviving maples in England are at Nunmonkton in North Yorkshire and Barwick in Elmet. The novel Fanny Hill contains a reference to a maypole. And now, disengaged from the shirt, I saw with wonder and surprise what, not the plaything of a boy, not the weapon of a man, but a maypole of so enormous a standard, that that had proportions been observed, it must have belonged to a young giant. The author John Cleland may have picked up a long-standing colloquial use of maple as a I don't know if I can say that word on stream without getting in trouble with Twitch. Shit. Um, as a euphemism for I don't know how to I don't know what to put instead of that I might get in trouble. Twitch is finicky. Is a euphemism for other things. This is a long way from proving that maples were intended to have a phallic significance. Hi, hey dog. How are you doing? How'd you find my channel? Disentangling folklore from fakelore is often difficult. Black Anise. A very tall cannibal hag with blue face and iron claws. She is said to live in a cave in the Dane Hills in Leicestershire, England. There is a great oak tree at the entrance to the cave, and Black Annis was said to hide in the tree in order to leap down onto stray children and lambs and devour them. It is also said that she gouged the cave out of rock with her own claws. Frightening stories about Black Annis were still told in the early 20th century. Children were told that you could hear her grinding her teeth as she approached, which gave people just enough time to bolt their doors and step back well away from the windows. It was possible for Annis to get in through windows, and this was why Leicestershire cottages had small windows, or so it was said. Annis could reach in through a window with her long arms and snatch a baby. By ancient custom, on Easter Monday, there was a drag hunt from Annis's bower to the mayor of Leicester's house. The dragged bait was a dead cat doused with aniseed. The drag hunt died out at the beginning of the 18th century. The connection is that Black Annis had a monstrous cat. Annis may be a late version of Anu, a Celtic mother goddess. Hi Darbu, how you doing? Boanna. The Boyne River. Angus the Young is the son of the Dagda by Boanna. He is the Irish god of love. His palace is believed to be at the Newgrange Passage grave, which stands beside the Boyne. God damn it, Darbu. Borvo. Borvo, Bormo, or Bormanis was a Gaulish god associated with hot springs. The name means bubbling or boiling spring water. Although connected with healing, Borvo appears by himself, not usually linked with Apollo. This implies that his was an exclusively Celtic cult, one that was not taken up by the Romans. Worship of Borvo was common in the Rhone and Loire valleys, Provence, the Alps, and Galicia. He had major cult sites at Bourbonless Bains and Axeless Bains, and sometimes had a female consort called Bormana. She even appears by herself at the healing spring of St. Vulbus. Borvo's female consort was Demona, the divine cow. Okay, hold on, I gotta put on my glasses. Starting to have issues. Brigid. In around AD 900, Brigid was said to be an expert in poetry, divination, and prophecy, and was worshipped by the Philid, an elite class of poets. She was the daughter of the Dagda and had two sisters, also called Brigid, one associated with healing and one with the smith's craft. So there were three goddesses called Brigid, which is an interesting example of triplism, or the rule of three. Ironically, Brigid has survived in the shape of her namesake, the Christian Saint Brigid. Lady Gregory, in her Gods and Fighting Men, proposes that the name Brigid meant fiery arrow. The historical element in Saint Brigid is slight, so it is likely that the Christian saint is a disguised transformation of the Celtic goddess. Her cult was legitimized by the prefix saint. The church could scarcely object to the veneration of a saint. Saint Brigid's feast day is February 1st, which is the major pre pre-Christian Celtic festival of Imbolg, the spring festival. St. Brigid was born at sunrise, neither within nor without a house, and she hangs her wet cloak on the rays of the sun to dry. The house in which she stays appears to be ablaze. She and 19 of her nuns take turns in looking after a sacred flame that burns perpetually. It is protected by a hedge through which no male may pass. This legend brings the saint close to the Celtic goddess Solis. According to Solinus, writing in the 3rd century AD, the sanctuary of Minerva also contained a perpetual fire. No clear boundary can be drawn between the life of the Christian saint and the Celtic goddess. The mortal Saint Brigid is supposed to have lived in the 5th century AD. It is very likely that St. Brigid's great monastery of Kildare was originally a pagan sanctuary. There are stories that in the remote past a community of Druidesses lived there and that they were responsible for maintaining the sacred fire that burned there. By virtue of their duty, they were known as the Daughters of Fire. Gerald of Wales mentioned this, stressing the Christian connections of the place, though without disguising its evident paganism. This is the sacred fire surrounded by the hedge that no man was allowed to pass through. Other Christian monastic sites probably occupied pre Christian foundations in a similar way. The holy well that bears St. Brigid's name at Liscannor in County Clare may have had an earlier existence as another pre-Christian sacred spring. Brigantia, Exalted One, who is the protectress of the Brigantis tribe, is likely to have been another transformation of Sulis Brigid. Cadera da Mora, a megalith in the shape of a chair. A fairy is believed to sit in the chair at night. Casa de Mora, the House of the Fairies. In Galicia, dolmens or megalithic tombs are said to be the homes of fairies who are associated with the dead. In a similar way, in Brittany, megalithic tombs are known as the Mason Discorgans. Rock-cut tombs are known as fairies' beds. Cernunnos. An important stag-antlered fertility god, Cernunnos is usually shown as a male human figure sitting cross-legged, Buddha-like, on the ground. On the Paris relief known as the Tiberian Sailor's Pillar, he is shown with stag's ears and a torque hanging from each antler. The image bears the name Cernunnos, which means horned one. The image is found in Britain, but it is more common in Gaul, where more than 30 examples are known. One bronze image from Beret shows the god sitting cross-legged as usual, but instead of human feet, he has the hooves of a stag. Welcome back, Victor. Not all of these horned nature gods are named, but the label Cernunnos is commonly used to describe them all. Most of these images are late, but there is a Valcamonica carving of Cernunnos that was made as early as the 4th century BC, so his worship prevailed across a long time span. The finest, most spectacular image of Cernunnos is the one on the Gunstrup cauldron, where he is shown as lord of the animals, accompanied by his stag, his ram-horned snake, his boar, and his bull. Cernunnos and his stag are as one. The artist had very deliberately made the antlers of Cernunnos and the antlers on the stag beside him exactly the same. He is a god of the forest, of nature, of fertility, of fecundity, and therefore of human prosperity. This is reinforced by an impressive stone relief from Reims, on which Cernunnos is shown with a sack of money, the coins flowing out in a copious stream. Underneath him are a stag and a bull, and he is flanked by 2 naked youths. At Somercourt, a sculpture of Cernunnos was found with sockets in the god's head where bronze or perhaps even real antlers were fitted. As usual, he sits cross-legged, but this time he is accompanied by a goddess as well as ram-horned snakes. Another image shows Cernunnos flanked by 2 youths who are standing on snakes. Tonyoli, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. A bronze image from Kurgi is of special interest. The god is sitting cross-legged, but this time he has 3 heads, perhaps for emphasis. He is feeding 2 ram-horned snakes with fruit piled up in his lap. The serpents coil around his body. The central head has sockets for the fitting of antlers. Cernunnos was evidently a mainly Gaulish deity. There are few images of him in Britain. This implies that he was an imported deity, but he was not imported by the Romans. A pre-Roman Celtic silver coin has been found at Petersfield in Hampshire, showing Cernunnos with a sunwheel behind his antlers. This is a link across to the image of Cernunnos on the Gunstrup cauldron, where he is also associated with a wheel god. It would be possible to describe more individual examples of Cernunnos images, and there were lots of complex variations. One key reoccurring feature is his association with the stag. Another is the ram-horned snake. The overall impression is one of well-being and prosperity. Cernunnos is a god of nature, perhaps the god of nature, as well as the god of fruit, of corn, of beasts, and of plenty. The close coexistence of stag and stag god implies shape-shifting. Cernunnos could perhaps appear as a stag, and a stag might metamorphose into the god. With the arrival of Christianity, the old horned gods, especially very powerful horned gods such as Cernunnos, became identified with the devil. Looked at objectively, there is no reason to see Cernunnos as anything other than totally benign, but those conditioned by a Christian upbringing are likely to be uneasy about a god wearing horns. Take a quick second to breathe now that we've finished Cernunnos. Second. Thing over on my desk in the process. Cocydius. A god commonly worshipped along Hadrian's wall, Cocydius means red one. At Otterburn, just below the summit of a ridge, is a square chamber 7 feet across, tucked away among huge slabs of rock. It is a natural chamber that was apparently used in antiquity as a shrine to Cocydius. Originally, it had a roof over it. On the right, at the entrance, is a slab with a carefully carved image of Cocydius cut into it. He is shown naked with a large pear-shaped head, and he is waving a spear and a round shield. Cocydius was worshipped at several places along the western end of Hadrian's Wall and was always associated with the Roman legionaries. So it is particularly interesting that his images are carved in indigenous Celtic style. It seems that, to this extent at least, the Roman soldiers in Britain went native. Coligny calendar. This unique bronze calendar was found in France, near Bourg-en-Bresse, at the end of the 19th century. It was made in the Romano-Celtic period in the reign of Augustus. It was evidently made under the auspices of Druids, as it shows the Druidical belief in lucky and unlucky days. Each month is divided into a good half marked Mat and a bad half marked Annum. These were appropriate and inappropriate times to act. This idea was shared by the Romans, and it is one that has, in a very small way, survived the present, with the idea that the 13th Friday of the month, especially if it is a Friday, is an unlucky day, or the 13th day of the month, especially if it is a Friday, is an unlucky day. The Ursula cycle of tales includes an episode about Queen Meb of Connaught, in which she is prevented from joining battle for a fortnight when the Druids advise her to wait for an auspicious day to fight. The Gauls counted in nights. This nocturnal custom may have been widespread in the Celtic West. Until relatively recently in Britain, it was possible to speak of a set night, or 7 nights, meaning a week. Shakespeare used it. Fortnight is still in general use for 2 weeks. The Gauls' month consisted of 29.5 days. The Druids seem to have wanted to reconcile the lunar calendar with the solar cycle, and did this by having a year of 12 months, alternately 29 and 30 days long, making a year of 354 days or nights is preferred. The difference between lunar and solar years was made up every 2.5 years by adding a 13th month. The years in turn formed cycles. According to Diodorus Siculus, great sacrificial ceremonies were held every 5 years, and there were centuries of 30 years that were used in assembling longer chronologies. The Coligny calendar, covering a cycle of 62 consecutive months, was inscribed on a sheet of bronze and unfortunately exists only in a fragmentary state. But it is a very important object because it is the oldest extensive document in an ancient Celtic language. It uses Roman lettering and numerals, but its content is completely independent of the Roman calendar. It must have been made by Gaulish Druids. It is of outstanding interest in itself, but also because it has points in common with the Greek calendar, which, in a similar way, used an additional month every so often to catch up with the astronomical year. The month names also have similarities. The Gallic Elembu has its Greek equivalent in Elaphebolian and the Gallic Ekos in the Greek Hippios, both meaning horse. The Greek model was evidently an influence on the Druids. There's no sign of anything like a Celtic timepiece, except in some of the sanctuaries, where there were isolated clusters of posts that could have been used as sundials. Coventina. Coventina was a northern British goddess. She presided over a spring inside a sacred enclosure that was bounded by a rough stone wall. The spring fed a small pool in which visitors threw offerings of jewelry, figurines, and coins. Pins were thrown in as well, and these are taken as associated with infants and childbirth. The goddess was a water nymph, and she may have been associated with water associated childbearing. Women may have appealed to her to help them through the ordeal of childbirth. A beautiful carved plaque found at the shrine of Coventia in Carraburg in Northumberland shows three Coventinas, each sheltering under her own elegant archway. Each goddess holds up a jar, as if toasting her worshipper. Their dresses are shown with parallel curving folds that clearly suggest the rippling water that is Coventina's element. When Coventina's well was excavated in 1876, it was found to be crammed with votive offerings cast into it during the Roman occupation, though it is almost certain that the Romans took over and developed a pre-existing cult spring. There were more than 13,000 coins. 13 stone altars depicting the goddess were thrown into the pool. It is possible that these went in at a time when the sanctuary itself was in danger. They may have been thrown into the water to save them from desecration. I'll take these off for a minute. Go to an eye doctor and get a new prescription, but that's expensive. Ugh. Okay. Crom Cruach. According to Irish folk tales, a god called Crom Cruach is Lord of the Mound. It is alleged by the anonymous 11th century monks who wrote the Book of Leinster that bloody rituals were performed in his name. They did evilly, beat on their palms, thumped their bodies, wailing to the monster who enslaved them, their tears falling in showers. In ranks stood 12 idols of stone. The figure of Crom was in gold. Another writer alleged that the firstlings of every issue and the chief scions of every clan were offered in sacrifice to the god Crom. These sacrifices, it was said, took place on the plain of Adoration in County Cavan. Cuchulainn, an Irish semi-divine hero, the quintessential Celtic hero, magnified to superhero scale. Warriors were expected to bring home the head of an enemy as a trophy. Cuchulainn could hold 9 trophy heads in one hand and 10 in the other, and juggle them. I inked. Cunimaglos. Cunimaglos is a Celtic epithet meaning hound lord. At Nettleton Shrub in Wiltshire, the Roman god Apollo was known as Hound Lord. Apollo was a name the Romans gave to the Celtic healer gods. Dogs were used for hunting, but they were also associated with healing. Victor, I'm always tired. I just saw that. Saw your thing, by the way. Like, it took me a second. I'm always tired. The Dagda. The Dagda is wedded into land by being married to the territorial goddess Bwana of the Boyne River. He is the Irish father of all the gods. His name means all competent, and he is a very strong club swinging giant. The union of Bwana and the Dagda is a classic example of a marriage between a nature god who nourishes the earth and a tribal god, and the Dagda is a fertility figure. He owns a magic cauldron that never empties and possesses magical powers of rejuvenation. The water the cauldron contains is a fertility symbol. Water is regarded as playing a major role in healing. The Dagda's other attribute is his magic club. With one end of it, he can deal death to the living, and with the other, life to the dead. When he drags it behind him, it leaves a track as deep as the boundary ditch separating two provinces. In spite of his great power and his position as father figure among the gods, he is often treated as a figure of fun. Unlike Zeus or Jupiter, his counterparts in the Mediterranean cultures, he is ugly, rough, crude, pot-bellied, and wears peasant clothing. Short garments are the mark of a peasant, and the vagabond entertainer, yet the Dagda's tunic barely covers his backside. His clothes are uncouth, and his behavior is even more so. He is insatiably greedy for porridge, and an anecdote in the Irish folk tales tell how he was lured by the Fomhor, mysterious race of evil non-humans who settled in Ireland long ago, and were driven out by the Tuatha De Danann into eating a prodigious amount, a king's cauldron full of it. Yet the Dagda is also an accomplished harpist. The beautiful melodies he plays are Vivaldi-like cues to the passage of the seasons. Okay, if my hair could stop getting like in my eye, that would be fantastic. Sorry about that. Ooh, too bright. I am going to take off my crown because it is a bit heavy and it does hurt after a while. I'm going to take this off for now, but it will be sitting right here. Hold on. Damona. Oy. Damona, a female consort of the healing god. At Bourbon Lancy, there is an inscription that connects her with incubation or healing sleep. At Elysia, she was the consort of Apollo, Mortigus, the Celtic god of hot springs. Mortigus means masses of seawater. Damona also appears as the consort of Borvo. She had two husbands.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek. We're so sorry, skeletons, you're so misunderstood. You only want to socialize.
I don't think we should.
A spooky, scary skeleton shouts startling, shrilly screams. They'll sneak under sarcophagus and just won't leave you be.
Yeah, that's a normal thing, JJ. It's a societal thing. You get used to it. Demetrius' Sacred Island. In his book on the cessation of Oricles, Plutarch mentions what Demetrius reported regarding Britain. Demetrius said that of the islands around Britain, many were deserted and scattered about, and some of them were named after demons and heroes. He said that, for the purpose of inquiry and investigation by the emperor's order, he sailed to the inhabited island which lay nearest to the deserted islands. It had only a few inhabitants who were priests, and it was held sacred by the Britons. Just after Demetrius landed on the island, there was a great disturbance in the air, and many meteors and blasts of wind burst down and whirlwinds descended. When it was calm again, the islanders said that the extinction had taken place of one of the superior powers, for, as they explained, a lamp when burning does no harm, but being put out is noxious to many people. In like manner, great souls, when first kindled, are benign and harmless, whilst they're going out in dissolution, often, as in the present case, stirs up stormy winds and aerial tumults. It even infects the air with pestilential tendencies. In that region also, they said, Saturn was confined in one of the islands by Briareus, and lay asleep, for that his slumber had been artfully produced in order to chain him, and round about him were many demons for his guards and servants. Here, in the sleeping divine king, is one of the mystical ingredients in the Arthurian legend, but dating from long before the time of the historical Arthur. Divine couple. Often a Celtic goddess is shown together with a god, whether Celtic or Roman. It can be difficult to tell which is the principal deity and which is the consort, though it is clear from Irish mythology that the female may be the dominant figure. The Aedui, a Gaulish tribe, venerated a couple whose names have not been recorded. The goddess had a horn of plenty and patera as the badges of her prosperity roll. Elsewhere, the divine couples had inscriptions to accompany them, and where they do is sometimes a link to a locality. Luxol we find Luxovius and Bricta. There are also Ugatus and Berguzia, Succulus and Nantusulta are another couple. I don't drink coffee. I'm gonna fucking knock everything over today. My tea has enough caffeine. I'm just waiting for it to kick in. Probably gonna go a couple more pages. There's a lot of reading to be done. And then open up for questions. Perhaps the most interesting divine couple in Britain were Mercury and Rosmerta. This was a mixed marriage, a Roman god paired with a Celtic goddess. A stone tablet found in Gloucester at the Shakespeare Inn shows the pair standing side by side. Mercury is naked with caduceus, purse, and cockerel. Rosmerta is fully dressed and carrying a double axe, patera, and wooden bucket. She is thought to be a version of the Celtic fertility goddess. Her name means the good supplier, which makes her a bringer of prosperity. Often she carries a basket of fruit or Mercury's purse. The couple collected some interesting associations in Britain. An image from Bath shows them with a ram and three hooded dwarves. Rosmerta's bulging purse on a stone from Gloucester shows her importance for prosperity. Dawn. Dawn was the Welsh goddess who is the equivalent of the Irish goddess Dana. Dana is the Irish mother goddess of the Tuatha De Danann, an ancestral figure associated with the land of Ireland. Possibly Dawn was an import from Ireland. The children of Dawn also correspond closely to the children of Dana. Dawn had three children: Gwydion the wizard, Gophanan the smith, and Arianna the mother of Lu. Dawn, the god presiding over the Irish underworld. Dawn means dark one. That's Dawn with two N's, not Dawn with one. Julius Caesar said the Gauls claimed they were descended from Dispater, who is the Roman lord of the underworld. It is unlikely that the Gauls literally claimed descent from a Roman god. Caesar was probably translating the Gaulish god into what he saw as the Roman equivalent. But the Celtic equivalent of Dispater was Dawn. It is quite likely that the Gauls would have claimed descent from a common ancestor. Some gods, such as Lugh, were claimed as the ancestors of widely separated tribes. Dawn is difficult to trace, and it may be that the god Succulus may in some aspects have carried out his role. There are representations of Succulus with a hammer, and Dispater is also known to have had a hammer. So the Irish Dawn may have been the same as the Gaulish Succulus. Dawn's Irish abode was a small rocky island known as Tecduin, the House of Dawn, off the south coast of Ireland. The people of Ireland were believed to travel this home when they died. This going west, quite literally into the sunset, was a common way of thinking of death and the journey to the afterlife. That's literally all druids. All right. All right. Druids. Before we start druids, I'm gonna take a little break here for a minute, just so I don't end up hurting myself sitting here. How's everybody doing? Child is screaming. How's everybody doing? Cheetah7886. I started Celtic mythology today. Here in a minute, I will be reading a section from this glorious book on druids. So right now is the Celtic religion. Goes over like main celebrations and the gods and goddesses. I'm doing good. It's a little dry from reading so much, but good otherwise. Yeah, I've been waiting to start this one since before I went on vacation, like a month ago now. I'm waiting to start this one. So this will be a long series of Mythology Wednesdays for Irish or for the Celts, which covered most of Europe actually. Came at a time that I don't have my crown on. No, 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 no. As I put up on Twitter, there's a GIF I put up on Twitter for that, and it's Johnny Depp from Pirates of the Caribbean that says, "Did everyone see that? Because I will not be doing that again. Not happening." The next time that I'll be on camera or on stream for longer than an accidental 12 hours will be when I do my first subathon. When I hit a year of when I hit a well, it'll either be for my birthday or I'll do a year or I'll wait until my 1 year for affiliate. I've yet to figure that out. Hi, Dead Wolf. How you doing? So I was dead during my 24-hour. First half was fine. Got through the first half like that. I also had like 6 raids on the first like half of my stream, so I was like, the energy was there. People were talking. It was energetic. Had it going on. The second half, on the other hand, kind of died, and so did I. And then I got so tired that I ended up flipping my camera around on my computer, because literally on the other side is my bed. Flipped around, turned my lights down, and fucking went to sleep. Took a nap. It was rough. I don't like rum. It's not a thing. Not a big fan of rum. I'm not a big fan of like most alcohol, for that matter. Taking a little breather before I continue. Druids would be the last thing I cover, and then I'll be opening up for questions from those that have been here the entire time. Well, actually, anybody can ask questions. Anybody got questions about Celtic mythology? I'm gonna start doing a question segment for mythology streams so people can ask questions afterwards. So, any questions will be answered, or any questions about Celtic mythology will be answered after I finish the druid section. Yeah, well, my community finished the community challenge I had set up for it, so I did it. Regret it. Though I did not get enough sleep beforehand and I was not fully prepared. So that might have been part of why like it was kind of crap. It was super cool. Like I got amazing raids from amazing people, but it was exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. Hold on a second, I'm gonna get up and move around for a second. My back is hurting from sitting here and like slightly bending over to read, so just give me a minute. Time to do the druid section and then open it up for questions. There. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Okay. Druids. The Druids are the most famous Celtic priests. The name may be derived from Druid, meaning very wise. I'm tired of eating ads. I feel it. We have a romanticized view of the Druids thanks to the art, literature, and antiquarian. Love fucking. I can't English. Antiquarianism of the 18th century, a vision of dignified, long-haired, white-robed priests peacefully embowered in woodland clearings, cutting mistletoe from the boughs of sacred oaks with gold sickles, and presiding over religious ceremonies in the air. Fanciful though the description sounds, it is partly true. Some of this is supported by contemporary classical writers, but the robes are unlikely to have been white. Brown and blue woolen tartan was a likelier fabric, or unbleached, undyed wool. We know about the Druids through the writings of several Greco-Roman writers, such as Strabo, Diodorus Siculus, and Julius Caesar. Unfortunately, all three of these writers seem to base what they say on just one source, Posidonius, and what they say is strongly influenced by personal agenda. What they describe is a very powerful priesthood that was able to control Celtic society, but it's difficult to gauge how wide their influence really was. Caesar, for instance, talks about the Druids only in one passage in Book 6 of his Gallic Wars. Lucan's comment that the Druids knew the secrets of the universe is thought to have been sarcastic. Some commentators think that the influence of the Druids was more social than political, but there's evidence that they were the source of the power structure in the hierarchy of Celtic society. Under the impact of Rome, that hierarchy diminished in power, and the power of the Druids ebbed away too. So as the Roman Empire encroached and impinged on the Celtic lands, the influence of the Druids gradually diminished, and could not really have been much of a threat to Rome. Under the Emperor Augustus, the Druids were tolerated, so long as they did not seek to interfere with Roman citizens. Under Tiberius, there was a clampdown, and Claudius tried hard to wipe Druidism out. There was a Celtic rising in Gaul in AD 69 to 70, led by Civilis, and during this time the Druids made something of a comeback. In the 3rd century, they were still active, as they were recorded as making prophecies against Severus Alexander and Maximin. And in the 4th, when the Bordeaux poet Ausonius mentions two famous Druids and the tradition of father to son succession. There are sources also refer to Druids as prophets and soothsayers. Cathbad of Ulster was one of these. From the references, it is clear that the Druids were a major religious force in both Gaul and Britain. They were also a political power, holding the balance between civil and military authorities, ensuring that any attempt at tyranny would fail. Caesar said that the Druids had their main cult center in Britain, and that was where they originated. They were magicians, and in their oral tradition was contained the entire liturgy, knowledge of religious ritual, and all the accumulated religious wisdom of the Celts. The Druids officiated at ceremonies in which the gods were worshipped. They supervised sacrifices and gave rulings on all religious questions. On a particular day each year, they met at a sacred site in the territory of the Carnutes tribe near Chartres in France, summoned by one who held authority over all of them. This gathering place was regarded as the center of Gaul. In a similar way, the Irish Philid had a leader who was elected from among their number, and they were closely associated with a place called Usnech, the navel of Ireland. This was the location of the primal fire, and it is said that a great assembly was held there. The system in operation seems to have been pan-Celtic. Pliny describes a feast that was prepared on the 6th day of the lunar cycle. It involved the Druids climbing a sacred oak tree where they cut down a mistletoe bough using a golden sickle and caught it in a white cloak. The ceremony also included the sacrifice of 2 bulls. My eyes hurt. Hold on. Alexa, turn on light 1 at 10%. Actually, that might have been the problem. That light is really bright. Hiccups. Okay. The Druids were heavily involved in divination, and their role as prophets is well documented. They supervised the calendar, and they were probably responsible for nominating certain days as lucky and others as unlucky. In both Gaul and Ireland, there were traditions of lucky and unlucky days. The classical writers were fascinated by the Druids' role in carrying out human sacrifice. Though the Druids did not actually carry out sacrifices, lesser functionaries did that. Their presence was necessary to validate them. Their main purpose in carrying out sacrifice was not propit- propiti- propitiation of the gods, but divination. Strabo says that the Druid soothsayers of the Cimbri tribe killed their victims with a sword stroke in the back and foretold the future from how they fell, the nature of the convulsions, and the flow of blood. The victim's blood was collected and then examined carefully for further clues to the future. The Druids were also alleged to be interested in harvesting mistletoe, so it is particularly significant that Lindoman, the man murdered in Cheshire and buried in a bog, was found to have mistletoe as well as the remains of a girdle cake in his stomach. Hi, Midwest. How are you doing? It looks as if he was a druidic sacrifice. It seems from a number of accounts that the Druids also made great use of bird watching in divination. The classical writers mentioned, but did not emphasize, a key role played by the Druids in transmitting knowledge. In a largely pre-literate society, memorizing and reciting knowledge handed down from an early generation was of great importance. Okay, Victor. The Druids worked hard to maintain this oral tradition, committing vast amounts of knowledge, both religious and scientific, to memory. Writing was used only for trade, which was regarded by the Druids as a profane activity. The Druids also wanted to hold back the divine figuration, what the gods actually looked like, in much the same way that they wanted to keep their textual knowledge to themselves. Lucan describes the Druids as living deep in the forest and claiming to know the secrets of the gods. Normally very brief and concise, Julius Caesar had much to say about the Druids. All the Druids were under one head, whom they hold in the highest regard. The Druidic doctrine is believed to have been originated in Britain, and from there imported into Gaul. Even today, those who want to make a profound study of it generally go to Britain for the purpose. The Druids are exempt from military service and do not pay taxes like other citizens. These important privileges are naturally attractive. Many present themselves of their own accord to become students of Druidism, and others are sent by their parents and relatives. It is said that these pupils have to memorize a great number of verses, so many that some of them spend 20 years with their studies. A lesson they take particular pains to inculcate is that the soul does not perish, but after death passes from one body to another. They think this is the best incentive to bravery because it teaches men to disregard the terrors of death. They also hold long discussion about the heavenly bodies and their movements, the size of the universe and of the earth, the physical constitution of the world, and the power and properties of the gods, and they instruct the young men in all these subjects. Professor Stuart Piggott had some very wise things to say about the Druids. One of them was that we have to distinguish between Druids as known and Druids as wished for. Druids as wished for arrived, as if by stealth, during a slow Celtic revival starting in the 16th century. Several French scholars interested themselves in the ancient Gauls, culminating in Noel Tailipide, who in 1585 wrote his book, History of the State and Republics of the Druids. In 1623, M.I. Gunabal, a medical doctor from Dijon, published a find of a cinerary urn as the discovery of the ancient tomb of Chinanax, Prince of Vasses, Druids, Celts, and people of Dijon. Layers of speculative fantasy were added to these accounts during the following century, to a point where in 1649 the English antiquarian John Aubrey could just assume that monuments such as Avebury and Stonehenge were connected with the Druids. Their religion is at large described by Caesar. Their priests were Druids. Some of their temples pretend to claim to have restored the English. Temples, no, some of their temples people pretend to have restored as Avebury, Stonehenge, and also British sepulchres. Aubrey's modest inference was taken up by another English antiquarian, William Stukeley, in the 1740s and expanded into a large-scale fantasy. By this time, the word Celt was coming into general use as an alternative to Briton. In the end, Stukeley used British in his 1740 title, Stonehenge, a temple restored to the British Druids, closely followed in 1743 by Avebury, a temple of the British Druids. And Stukeley's Druids were the precursors, somehow, of Christians. Stukeley wrote, "My intent is, besides preserving the memory of these extraordinary monuments now in great danger of ruin, to promote as much as I am able the knowledge and practice of ancient and true religion, to revive in the minds of the learned the spirit of Christianity." This was Druids' wish for on a grand scale. And that is where we're going to end the reading for today. If anybody has any questions or anything they would like to add, now is the time. And I agree, Durbu. Druids are cool. If you get the right druid. And it also depends on, like, what you're looking at, that what a druid classifies as. Because, like, if you look in, like, a fantasy setting, druids are different from what the Celtic druids were. In the meantime, I will be right back. So, Gina, some of the ones I went over. Oh, there's so many. Um, Historically, there's been record of over four Celtic gods and goddesses across Europe. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. So Tina, in regards to your question, there's a lot I went over um while I was reading. But like a few like main ones were like Dagda and Donna and there's a few others that were closely related to Apollo. Um there's historically mentioned or recorded or depicted in some way over 400 gods and goddesses across Europe, Celtic gods and goddesses across Europe. And so I will never be able to tell you all of them. I did not go over all of them today. I will be continuing this next week, next Wednesday, and for the Wednesdays to follow. For a while, because there's a lot to cover, because there's so many different origins and practices and gods and goddesses across Europe, and I want to try and cover as much as possible so people have a very well-rounded understanding of Celtic mythology. I don't think I've watched that movie, Darbu. I don't think I've watched it. I really need to get like an actual microphone. I don't have to use this headset during my mythology streams. Yeah, there's gods that are localized to Scotland or Britain, Germany, um, Italy, Ireland. There's a lot, um, and that's not including like the ones that um, like it's ones that were adopted and their names were changed, as like with all of the ones that have a connection to Apollo. Um, they were adopted, but they were kind of absorbed into Apollo under um, the Roman Empire. So there's a lot. So next week for Mythology Wednesday, I will be continuing Celtic. I will be starting with Epona. That is the next on the Celtic religion topic of things. So I'll be starting off with her next week. Um, Hoping to get through more of Celtic religion, but there's a lot. After I finish the Celtic religion section, I will be moving on to myths, ideas, and archetypes, which goes over more of the stories. It'll be a lot of just listening to me read um for the next few weeks for Mythology Wednesday. Um, but I do hope that the question segment at the end over the next few weeks, um, you know, generate some, community involvement because like I want that to be a thing. I don't want it just to be, a stream of me talking. I want there to be conversation and stuff as well. So I'm hoping that it will encourage people to interact and to ask any questions so people aren't confused. Inked, you suck. But I will do it because it is a redeem, and I will do my best to do it with the crown on. Actually, I might not be able to because I throw my head back, so I might not be able to do it with the crown on. But it's gonna have to wait till I'm done eating. So I don't want to knock my crown off or hurt myself. I do it without the crown because I don't have pins to hold it in place on my head. It's a bit too heavy for pins, anyways. So well, at least you waited till the question segment to do that. I'm always really careful when I have lipstick on when I'm eating. All right. Inked. Much love, but much hate. I'll answer that question in the second interview. Boom. Wait, actually, hold on. I need to move over because I'm gonna hit my crown. Boom, boom, firepower. Okay, I'm done. Anyways, um, ow. So, to answer your question, Darbu, for me, I got into mythology when I was in high school, and it was an escape. Reading all these reading all these stories full of tragedy and joy and magic and these creatures that are just unbelievable. Um, it was an escape for me. Well, thank you, anonymous gifter. Um, thank you. Um, but it was an escape for me, and it just kind of grew over the years. Um, I I love mythology. Um, I don't as much enjoy Greek or Roman, just because I feel like
Oh my god!
um, I don't much enjoy Greek or Roman. I feel like it's overdone and overplayed. I enjoy some of the more outlandish ones, especially when learning about them. I enjoy some of the lesser known ones. Um, I wish there was more to learn on Aztec and Mayan and Incan, but there's just not a lot to learn about them, sadly, because there's not a lot of records in any shape. Um, there's a few that I can't wait to go over at some point for Mythology Wednesday. I think they would be a lot of fun. Um, but it's kind of all over the place. Viking, thank you for the biddies. Oh, really? You guys almost have a hype train? Why? Just why? And there's my cheer goal though, so that's nice. Thank you.
Oh my god!
I don't know if it registered it for the hype train. I know I have it set to the lowest. I just don't know. Darbu, thank you. Viking, can you shout out Darbu? It's just exclamation mark SO and then put his username, please. Hi, Title. I'm doing good. Um, in the question section of my mythology stream, you're catching me towards the end, and a freaking almost hype train apparently, because you guys are insane. What? What the fuck? Guys. Um, uh, you guys are amazing. I really need to find a sound alert when somebody gifts subs. Have like an actual sound alert for it. I think it would be really cool. I can't believe you guys started a freaking hype train.
Oh my god! Diggle bitties. Oh my god! Diggle bitties.
Inked! You did not, you guys! And she just redeemed drink water. I don't have any water! Shit! I generally always have water by my computer. Those are great people to get the subs though. Like those are
Oh my god! Diggle bitties.
guys. You didn't have to do that. Where I drank water. I guys. Thank you. A level fucking 3. I swear to God, if you all get me to a level 5, I'm gonna cry. It's not gonna be pretty. We've hit level 4. I, thank you. You guys are amazing. 8! What the fuck are you doing? Stop it! Ink, you did not have to do that. I love you guys too. Oh my god. Oh god. Fucking crying with makeup is not. Crying with makeup on is not a good thing. Ah. Oh god. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Utterly ridiculous. Um, Viking, Victor W said you guys can pick what song I sing. 'Cause he redeemed sing a song of viewer's choice. Um, oh yeah. Oh, crying with makeup on is not fun. My eyes hurt. Like a lot. Holy shit. Damn interview. Coming in clutch with the dad jokes make me laugh instead of cry. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. My subscriber goal is out the goddamn water. My tier goal out to goddamn water. Now all that's left is to get to 700 for followers. Which Adele song? You have to pick a song. You can't just pick an artist. You guys did not have to do that at all.
Oh my god!
Someone like you? Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Let's mute the desktop so you guys can't hear it, which means you guys will not be able to hear sound alerts. Did you have to make it an even 2500? Viking? Is that. Okay. Uh, Ads. Can you guys hear the music? Because I just started playing it. I need to know if you guys can hear it. You guys shouldn't be able to hear it. Yeah. As long as you guys don't hear the music, I don't care. Okay, good. I heard that you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things I didn't give to you. Don't friend, why you so shy? And yank you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away. I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me. I bet I remember said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. You know how the time flies only yesterday with the time of your lives when you were born and raised. Summer haze bound by the surprise of our glory days. Right it, I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I felt nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me. I beg. I remember said sometimes lasts in love, but sometimes hurts instead. Nothing compares, no worries or care. Regrets and mistakes, their memories made. Who would have known how bittersweet? Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember said sometimes it lasts in love, sometimes hurts instead. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Okay, that's done. Hi, Mama Bear. How you doing? How's the family, Mama Bear? Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, JJ, I don't give a shit. Press whatever song you want. I had someone request that I sing peanut butter fucking jelly time, okay? And it got clipped. Don't care. I'll sing it. I'm gonna hate it, but I'll sing it if it's like something stupid. But I'll pretty much sing these songs. If I know if I know the words. Well, and I mean I can pull up lyrics and everything, but like if I don't think that I can sing it, I will request a different song. Sing a song. My choice? Dear Jesus. I'm good. Um, trying to get my eyes to stop hurting from crying from a level 5 hype train because I have makeup on and it's not
Oh,
fun.
mommy.
God damn it, Mikey. Sing a song of my choice. Okay. Okay, no, and on my arm. Get off. Let's see. Uh, let's see. um, let's go with. Uh, see this playlist. Um, ooh, wait, hold on. This is it. Hold on. Okay, yeah, this is the one I want. Okay, it's actually a really good song. This is a song by Coldplay. If somebody knows this song, I'm gonna be really, really happy. Come up to meet you, tell you I'm sorry. You don't know how lovely you are. I had to find you, tell you I need you, and I set you apart. Tell me your secrets, answer me your questions. Now let's go back to the start. Running in circles, coming up tails. It's on a science part. Nobody said it was easy. It's such a shame for us to part. Nobody said it was easy. No one ever said it would be this hard. Oh, take me back to the start. Just guessing at numbers and figures, and then the puzzles apart. Questions of science, science and progress. Don't speak as loud as my heart. Me, love me, come back and haunt me. Oh, when I rush to the start, running in circles, chasing our tails, coming back as we are. Nobody said it was easy. Oh, it's such a shame for us to part. Nobody Nobody said it was easy. No one ever said it would be so hard. Going back to the start. Okay, I stand to that one. Monkey butt, what you cry about? What you cry about? 1 second. Yeah, Cheetah, you got it. That's my light. Yes, pretty girl. Hi. Yes, no, you can't touch it. No, no. Look, you say hi. Hi. Look, 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 look. Hi. Yeah. Spooky, scary skeletons send shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons, such a scream. Chicken silver and surprise when you hear the sound. We're so sorry, skeletons, you're so misunderstood. You only want to socialize, but I don't think we should. Spooky, scary skeletons, have sufficiently screamed. Guns a sarcophagus and just won't leave you be. Oh, you touch my nose? You touch my nose? You touch my nose? You touch my nose? Touch my nose? Touch my nose? Touch my nose? That's my nose. Nom 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 nom. Um. I'm eating and um. Um. Nom 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 nom. Yay. Mwah. What? You being cute? What? No, you can't touch my light. No. 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 I have good posture right now. Thank you very much. Mama's going to get you. I tickle you. I tickle you. I tickle you. Appa. No, why do you have to try and touch everything on my desk? Oh, say hi. Hi. Your hair is a mess. Per usual. Your hair's a mess. Look at all these curls. Look at all these curls. Look at them. Hi. Where are you going? Look. 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 Hi. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. What you doing? I'm not. You can eat it. Ah. Oh, I ate some of it. What are you gonna do? Good job. Good job. Like her favorite thing on the planet. She tries to feed them to me regularly. I'm numb. Good job. Yeah. Really putting those teeth to work. Yeah. Big ol' bites. Big ol' bite. Oh, good job. That's a big ol' bite. That's a big ol' bite. No. Leave my phone alone. Oh, come here. I want to give you a kiss. Let me give you a kiss. I don't want your cracker. I don't want it. No, thank you. I gave you this. What are you gonna do about it? You're just gonna eat your cracker? Act like it didn't happen? I don't want it. No, thank you. 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 I appreciate it though, but no, thank you. Oh, can we say hi? You can say hi. Let me see you. Hi. I don't want the cracker. No, thank you. Oh, where are you going? That's my nose. That's my nose. That's my nose. Can I help you? Huh? I'm confused. Ah, blah, blah, blah. You go stand. Can you stand up? Thank you. Are you dancing? You dance? You dance? Yeah, you dancing? Yeah. No, don't give your cracker to Teddy.
Oh my god!
You could dance? You could dance? What are you doing? What are you doing? What you, like, oh, oh, ah. sit there and eat your cracker. Ah. What? So much attitude in such a tiny. Hold on. Oh, there we go. So much attitude in such a tiny body. Such a tiny body. Ugh. Oh, there's a hair like right under my eye. I can feel it. Are you done? You go back in your pack and play? Go watch your movie? Or actually, I think that's Mickey Mouse. You go watch Mickey Mouse? You go watch Mickey Mouse? Yeah? Okay. I will be right back, guys. And the tantrum begins because I said, watch Mickey Mouse. And she was like, yeah. And then I put her in her pack and play. She's all mad. Is normally what happens. Actually, hold on. I'm going to take a break real quick. All right. I'm back. Hi. How's it going? I'm probably going to be ending stream here soon. I'm about to hit that 3 hour mark. And it's just about 10 o'clock. I'm tired. So I might raid out here soon. I don't know who I'm gonna raid out to, because I don't know who the fuck's online, but I'm gonna raid out to someone to figure out who's online first. Thought I had to sneeze there for a second. It was hell. Oh, there's a lot of people online. Hello, okay. Shit. Um, Nickel biscuits. Does anybody know any non-affiliates that are close to hitting affiliate? Scrub down a little bit. I haven't actually been in their stream yet, so I actually don't know what they're like. They followed me on Twitter, and then so I followed them on Twitch, and they followed me back. But I have no idea what their streams are like. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna mute it though. Mm, actually, no, I know who I'm gonna read out to. I haven't been in their streams in a minute, and I feel kind of bad about it. Um, let's see, song to sing. Um, let's see. No. Oh, I love this song. Okay. Actually, I don't know how many people might know this song, and I think a few people might know it. Another world inside of me that you may never see. There's secrets in this life that I can't hide. Somewhere in this darkness, there's a light that I can't find. Maybe it's too far away, or maybe I'm just blind. Maybe I'm just blind. So hold me when I'm here, right me when I'm wrong, feel me when I'm scared, feel me when I'm gone. Everything I am, everything in me, going to be the one you wanted me to be. I never let you down, even if I could. I know everything, if only for your good. Love me when I'm here, love me when I'm wrong, love me when I'm scared, love me really there, and love me when I'm gone. Love me when I'm gone. Our education X-ray cannot see under my skin. I'll tell you a damn thing that I could not tell my friends. Roaming through this darkness, I'm alive, but I'm alone. Part of me is fighting this, but part of me is gone. Hold me when I'm here, ride me when I'm wrong. Hold me when I'm scared, love me when I'm gone. Everything I am and everything in me wants to be the one you wanted me to be. I'll never let you down, even if I could. I'd give up everything, if only for your good. Hold me when I'm here, ride me when I'm wrong. And hold me when I'm scared. I won't always be there, so love me when I'm gone. Mm, maybe I'm just blind. Mm, hold me when I'm here, ride me when I'm wrong, hold me when I'm scared, and love me when I'm gone. Everything I am and everything in me wants to be the one you wanted me to be. I never let you down, even if I could. I'd give up everything, if only for your good. So hold me when I'm here, ride me when I'm wrong. You can hold me when I'm scared, you won't always be there, so love me when I'm gone. Love me when I'm gone. Oh, love me when I'm gone. I'm gone. When I'm gone. When I'm gone. Alright. That is going to be the end of my stream. We'll be rating out to someone who actually, like, I found them on, they found me on Twitter a while ago, and I hopped in, followed them. Super cool dude, super chill. Um, so please, for those of you that are subscribed, show the love. Spam my emotes, hype it up. Um, I may or may not be live tomorrow, just kind of depends on how I feel. But if I am live tomorrow, it'll be Hollow Knight and probably just sitting and chilling. So, um, I will see you guys tomorrow if I stream. If not, I will be streaming Saturday. I will see you guys then. Love you all.